working on what album? What number album?
5. I'm only calling it, I like to call it MCR 5 right now, so I'm really excited.
Hello fellow emos and welcome back to my channel. Today I will once again be talking about the My Chemical Romance leaks, but this time I'll be exploring the question on everybody's lips: did My Chemical Romance leak their own music as some sort of marketing tactic? But before we get into it, if you're not already subscribed, then please do hit the subscribe button. I post new videos weekly, and as always, MCR5 2024. It is so real. It is so happening. You've just got to keep the faith. Let's go. Okay, so if you're not up to date with the My Chemical Romance leaks, I will just quickly fill you in on what has happened. As always, this video won't contain the leaks themselves. Okay, so on July 4th of this year, a full-length leak called The Witch appeared online. The song is supposedly from the scrapped My Chemical Romance album, The Paper Kingdom, and it sounds like a demo. Side note, this happened whilst I was asleep and I woke up to so many messages, and at first I thought everyone was just messaging me about Labour winning the election, but when I actually checked my messages and I was looking at what people were saying, my brain could not comprehend that 2 historic events were happening on the same day. And then I just had to go to work, like nothing happened, and honestly that should have been a bank holiday for us emos, but anyway. The day after the Witch leaks online, we got some additional snippets of songs. These were just very heavily watermarked snippets, and after that we got the supposed track list of The Paper Kingdom. I'm saying supposed because, I mean, how are we supposed to know if it's legit? All of these leaks, they do sound very good, they don't sound AI to me. That is just a very basic overview of what happened. If you want to hit the actual leaks, then I suggest you go to the My Chemical Romance subreddit because they are very well organized over there. So naturally, a lot of questions have yet to be answered about these leaks, and to be honest, we still don't really know if they're real or not. Although I would say the general consensus is that they are real. For me personally, if the burden of proof was on the balance of probabilities, then I would say, yeah, I do think the leaks are real. However, I cannot say I believe they're real beyond all reasonable doubt. I just can't. Not until Warner, the band, or just someone within their team, in a circle, whatever, says either way. But for the purpose of this video, let's just assume they are real. What if this was all just some sort of elaborate marketing tactic and ARG is something like that? What if My Chemical Romance leaked their own leaks? We've seen musicians such as Lady Gaga and Halsey use this technique, so whilst it's unusual, it's not completely unheard of. The theory has been discussed a lot online, and I'm just gonna say, no, I don't think they're behind the leaks, and this is why. But also shout out to Samu Literally for creating the most comprehensive leak timeline. It has been incredibly helpful. The main reason why I don't think My Chemical Romance is behind the leaks is because these leaks have been going on for years at this point. The leaks were originally made public in 2022 when heavily watermarked snippets were posted online. However, these were quickly taken down due to copyright reasons, and then that was mostly it. We didn't really hear anything about it until the 4th of July, of course. Why would you create hype for something 2 years ago and then seemingly abandon it? Right, like that just doesn't sound like a good plan. And you could argue, well, they had something in the works, stuff fell through, the Panini was happening, so it got abandoned for a little bit, but now it's picking back up and the plan is back on track. But has anything actually happened? Like, okay, we got the full song and a few other leaks, but I would have expected like the full actual song to have dropped by now if the band were behind it, like on iTunes or Spotify or some sort of announcement, just anything to acknowledge that it was them behind it. But so far it's been radio silence, right? And their radio silence, in my opinion, is for 2 reasons. Number 1 is the Streisand effect. I am just going to read the definition of that from Wikipedia. It's just easier, So, the Streisand effect is an unattended consequence of attempts to hide, remove, or censor information, where the effort instead increases public awareness of the information. The effect is named after the American singer and actress Barbra Streisand, whose attorneys attempt in 2003 to suppress the publication of a photo showing her clifftop residence in Malibu, taken to document coastal erosion in California, inadvertently drew far greater attention to the previously obscure photo. The effect exemplifies psychological reactance, where the desire to hide information instead makes its propagation more likely. So basically, talking about something brings more attention to it. If these leaks were real leaks and not just some marketing tactic, then of course Warner and the band aren't going to publicly address them, because that just means more people are going to find the leaks, and they don't want that to happen if it's like an actual leak, right? And the second reason I believe the label and the band aren't talking about the leaks, and yes, I'm aware I keep saying leaks, but I don't know any synonyms for leaks, and it doesn't sound like a real word at this point, but just go with me on it, is probably because there's legal stuff going on in the background, and it's just best to keep your mouth shut if you're involved in ongoing litigation. Yes, legally you could acknowledge stuff happening, but it's just easier to stay quiet. You know, you're not going to say the wrong thing if you say nothing at all. Plus, the 2-year timeline that I mentioned actually ignores the metadata from the leaks, which is supposedly from 2012, and I do say supposedly just because metadata can be altered. I'm undecided if it has been, but would they really been working on this for 12 years? 12 years on a marketing tactic that, respectfully, is not very elaborate. Like, that seems a bit excessive, in my opinion. Also, if this was some My Chemical Romance marketing tactic, then I would expect publications to cover it, right? But so far, this has mostly been contained to the fandom, and it just doesn't feel like there's PR going on behind the scenes. You know, if this was legit, then Kerrang would be all over it. They would make it front page news, and they would run different stories on it every day, because Kerrang loves My Chemical Romance, and I love them for that. That's not shade, it's just like there's radio silence, and it makes me think that these publications have been asked not to talk about the leaks, probably because there's ongoing legal stuff behind it, right? And I've seen people say, well, this is the kind of thing My Chemical Romance would do, right? They're theatrical, they're over the top, and this is theatrical and over the top, leaking your own leaks. Like, okay, icons. And whilst I do agree with that sentiment, I feel like My Chemical Romance in the present day, they're not so theatrical and over the top when it comes to marketing and PR and being famous, to be honest. Like, they rarely do interviews. In my opinion, they've just reached this level of fame where they don't really have to do that, you know what I mean? They can just drop music and it's gonna go to #1, and of course that doesn't mean that they'll never be over the top and theatrical again, but right now it just feels out of character. As always, that is just my opinion. Another reason I doubt My Chemical Romance is behind the leaks is just because of the execution of the whole thing, really. I do think in theory that leaks could be some cool ARG marketing thing, but in reality, the way that this is played out hasn't been fun, and it's not been cool, and rightfully it's upset a lot of the fandom who have refused to listen to the leaks at all out of respect for the band. How I got so many angry messages for simply pointing people in the direction to listen to the leaks if they wanted to. If this was an ARG, then I think they would have made that more obvious, just to ensure fans felt comfortable participating in it. Also, the quality of the leaks themselves raises questions. If My Chemical Romance were to leak their own music, wouldn't they ensure it was like a proper actual song and not some demo, right? The Witch, it just sounds unfinished, and that just doesn't match with the high standards the band are known for. It almost feels like it just wasn't meant to be heard by the public. But like I said, that is just my 2 cents. I am happy to be wrong, of course, because if this is some sort of ARG marketing thing, that means My Chemical Romance haven't been stolen from. Whereas if it is a leak, then a crime has taken place, and obviously that sucks. Do you think My Chemical Romance leaked their own music? Do you think someone else did it? Do you think we're gonna get anything else out of this situation? I know there was rumors of an additional Warner leak, but it wasn't clear if My Chemical Romance was gonna be a part of that or not. I guess we'll just have to wait and see. But as always, thank you for watching and sticking around to the end of this video. If you have any requests, topics you'd like me to cover, then please let me know in the comments down below. And I will see you all next week. Okay, thanks, bye.